motorsport athlete or hobbyist feeling stuck in the sponsorship race, frustrated with slow progress, and wondering if there's a better way to attract sponsors and build your motorsport career team? Guess what? There is. I'm Belinda Risley, your host and motorsport sponsorship coach. I'm here to help you accelerate your career without constantly chasing sponsors or struggling to prove your value. Welcome officially to the Motorsport Sponsorship Podcast, where we focus on relationship-based strategies that not only help you secure valuable sponsorship, but also allow you to enjoy the journey. I've helped countless of motorsport athletes go from having no sponsorship to securing multiple deals that fund their passion, and now I'm here to help you do the same. From crafting sponsorship proposals to mastering negotiations and building lasting sponsors relationships, you'll learn the exact steps you need to attract and keep sponsors so you can focus on what you do best, racing. Because building a successful motorsport career should support your dreams, not hinder them. Whether you're just starting out or looking to break free from the sponsorship struggle, this podcast is for you. Expect a fun, engaging atmosphere like we're friends, chatting over a coffee, sharing tips and stories from the track. And nothing is off limits here. And I love a good motorsport pun if you can't already hear. So if you're ready to see real results and create a motorsport career that supports your dream, hit that subscribe button, share, and let's race towards success one sponsorship at a time. I'm thrilled to reintroduce myself and officially welcome you to the Motorsport Sponsorship Podcast. After a lot of reflection and planning, I've decided to rebrand this podcast to better serve you and align with my passion for helping motorsport athletes secure sponsorships and grow their careers without the constant struggle of figuring it all out on their own. In this episode, I want to share a bit more about my journey, the story behind the rebrand, and what you can expect from the podcast moving forward. So let's get started, team. Are you a motorsport athlete feeling frustrated by the uphill battle of securing sponsorships and looking for strategies that don't involve blindly reaching out or settling for minimal support? Welcome to the Motorsport Sponsorship Podcast. I'm your host, Belinda Risley, a motorsport sponsorship coach dedicated to helping you unlock the potential for sponsorship success. I've helped countless of motorsport athletes going from having no sponsors to securing valuable deals that truly support their racing dreams. And I believe the same is possible for you too. Are you ready to accelerate your sponsorship journey and build a career that thrives on the support of the right partners? Then let's dive in today's episode about sponsorship packages. All right, team, sponsorship packages, very exciting topic. Recently, I've put up some posts on socials to get some feedback and to answer your questions that you have when it comes to sponsorship packages. I guess the first tip and the most important tip is that when it comes to compiling your packages, or for those who've been following me for a while, tiers, as I prefer to call them, it's really important that you listen to what your prospect actually wants, okay? So I'm not a fan of the bronze, silver, or gold packages. I do believe in tiers, and tiers are a little bit different layout to a bronze, silver, and gold. And I'm not a huge fan of putting prices on those tiers or packages if you do want to run with a bronze, silver, or gold, or you come up with a better name for it. And the reason being, team, is that sometimes you may cost yourself out of getting a sponsor, and sometimes you may lose money because it is too cheap and the sponsor may think that it's too good to be true. So the very first tip, apart from listening to what your sponsor or prospect actually wants when it comes to investing within you, is that it's really important that you know your worth. Okay, and I've mentioned this before when we've talked about doing social media posts and videos and all of that, charging when it comes to promoting your sponsor, is that it costs you time as well to promote your sponsor. And so you need to know what is your hourly worth, basically. How much time and does all of these benefits that you're going to offer the prospect take for you to do? Because yes, you definitely don't want to be in arrears or in a deficit when you feel that you're giving more to the sponsor than what you're getting back. So it's very important that number 3, that when you identify the benefits that you can offer those sponsors, the prospect, that you have basically what is that value worth to you. And for example, okay, how much does it actually cost to have a sticker on your vehicle? And this is going to vary for everybody depending on the size of your race vehicles. for those who've sent through your proposals previously, I also would know that I'm not a huge fan of when you're sending out a proposal that you actually say, okay, well, if you want to advertise on my bonnet, it's $5,000. If you want to go on the side of my door, it's $2,000. If you want a sticker placed on the back of the mirror, it's $500. And again, because it could be expensive to someone and you could miss out on that opportunity, but also that's not what they may want. Okay, so it's very hard to go and pinpoint where to put these prices and how much these things are going to cost until you actually know, number 4, how much money or what is the budget of the prospect willing to invest in you or into motorsport marketing. So you don't want to put a price on it until you actually have a clear understanding of what they're wanting to get out of it. And remember, then that's when we go and do our sponsorship proposal. So I feel like in the industry, we're quite backwards in our process a lot of the time. And that's purely just through what we know at this point. But a lot of people will do their proposal first with their packages without even speaking to a sponsor. We need to build that relationship first and foremost with a sponsor, with a prospect, nurture them. We need to have a clear understanding of what their objectives are with working with you. What are their expectations of that return on investment? What are their expectations as far as maybe your racing achievements go? Are they looking for you to be in the top 10? Or is it purely a personal sponsorship? You don't and you can't put that through a proposal unless you have all of this information. Again, motorsport is a business, so you can't go and put, say, a quote together for building a house unless you know what that family wants to have inside that home. Do they want the extra bathroom? Do they want a double garage with a shed? Until you actually have the full understanding of what they require, it's hard for you to provide that quote. So I'd just like you to be mindful of that when you're thinking about sponsorship, your best and first step is to go and make those connections, go and network with people, whether it's at the track, whether it's local small businesses, whether it's your schoolmates, whether it's your other business associates. Until you actually have that network and those connections, you don't require a proposal or to even think about a package because you don't know what to put into it. You don't know what benefits that you can offer it, and you don't know what to charge them because you don't know their budget. So just taking those things into consideration when it comes to developing your package. If you already have that prospect, you've already met with them, you already know what they would love to invest and you know you have a clear vision around what benefits you can offer them, then yes, by all means, please do go through and put that package together. Again, if you know what they want, you don't necessarily need a gold, bronze, silver package. Okay, you should be able to put just one program, one package, or an ad hoc package for them. I always recommend just saying when you are starting to speak to someone and they might simply say to you, oh, you just send through your proposal or send through your packages, that's your opportunity to actually say, well, actually, we don't have a generic one. We actually bespoke it to you. So imagine how much that prospect their ears would prick up and go, wow, they're actually interested in working with me and hearing what I want before they go and put that package together. So it helps with your professionalism as well, waiting to actually listen to what they have to say and then putting that together. What goes into those packages once you've actually developed it? Again, it depends on what they are wanting to get out of that relationship. So there's various ways that you can tailor up those packages, but it comes down to the benefits. So what benefits can you offer that prospect? How long can you offer that benefit for? Is it just for one round? Is it for 3 rounds? Is it for a full year or is it for 5 years? So there's so many variables that come into play when you're putting that package together. And that package, again, sorry to harp on it, team, but is only going to be known once you've actually had that meeting or a few meetings with them, or you've actually had email correspondence to get that actually identified first and foremost. And so I can hear you going, Belinda, just tell us what goes inside the package. Well, inside that package is basically what are the benefits that you can offer them. So what are the benefits that you can offer them? How can you offer them return on investment? And I know a lot of you get stuck on about, we don't know how to exactly show them return on investment. And I do have an episode coming up in the next 3 weeks where I'm going to go right through about return on investments for your sponsors. But at the end of the day, you need to know your worth. You need to know how much time does it take. For example, if you said one of your benefits that you can bring your vehicle down to a launch day, maybe they're launching a new product or maybe they're launching a new store and you're going to be there for 8 hours, you need to know how long that is that going to take. Is that a one-off occasion, or are they anticipating opening 5 stores throughout Australia in the next 12 months and anticipate for you to be there? But then if that's the case, are they going to pay for your travel costs to get there? Or is it your expectation to get the race vehicle there? You need to have a clear understanding exactly what that means before you can actually send out that package. And basically the package, again, is just what can you offer them and how are you going to activate that offer? So what kind of activations are you going to do? Inside the Winning Sponsorship course, we go through lots of different ways around about activations and how to work out your return on investment, also how to work out your hourly worth as well. And that Winning Sponsorship course is kicking off October 7th, which is a 4-week intense sponsorship course. And we go through basically the systems that's involved around about sponsorship. So there's be more details in today's show notes. So just race down to the bottom and you can see the link to find out more information about that upcoming Winning Sponsorship course. So team, I'm going to race through and answer some of those questions that came through on those socials. There were a few, so I've kind of just picked out the main ones that come through. I think that the biggest one was around about time, like how do we work out what goes into the package and the time that we need to implement. Again, motorsport is a business. If you want to sponsor, you need to have the time to invest in yourself to know and learn about that sponsor and also work out the benefits, but also meeting, greeting. We know that it takes anywhere between 6 and 9 months for a sponsor to say yes, obviously depending on the size of the organization. But if you're basically looking for a multinational or international business, anywhere from 6 to 9 months. So there's going to be a lot of correspondence, a lot of toing and froing, negotiations. And that's why it's important that you do have a sales strategy. And again, we cover that in the Winning Sponsorship course, and to work out, okay, if they say yes, then what do I do? If they said no, then what is my plan? And then going forward, what do I do once they've said yes? And how do I keep growing that relationship? Because I think the biggest, I'm not saying myth, but I think the biggest disappointment when it comes to motorsport sponsorship from a sponsor's perspective is that they don't feel like they, a lot of the time, are communicated to. They don't feel like they're getting that return on investment because they don't really know what's going on. They don't know what's happening. They maybe don't know that you've run out of money and that you haven't been able to compete for the half of the season. So it's really important that you have a communication plan, an active communication plan with your sponsors at all time going forward. So Shaz Goodman has sent through a question about getting started and how to do it. Hopefully, Shaz, I have answered that question. Is basically listen to that prospect and have a meeting and talk to them as much as possible so you've got a clear understanding of what they want out of that relationship going forward. Then you can put that package together, whether that is in tiers, if that's the way that you want to do. Maybe you're at the beginning of your race season and you're needing a naming rights partner and you might have a primary sponsor and other key stakeholders. Or it could be for a one-off event. Maybe you've got a once-in opportunity to race Bathurst or to go to the US and do 5 rounds over there in Speedway. Again, it's all very bespoke, team. And so that's why I've started the Motorsport Sponsorship Club. And that's more of a community where you can kind of get more networking opportunities and you can also get more support from myself on a weekly basis. I do coaching calls where I can answer all your questions. But if you're looking for an ongoing sponsorship mentoring program, that Motorsport Sponsorship Club is probably more for you, especially if you've got a few sponsors and you're looking more how to nurture them, how to grow that relationship. So maybe currently they're working with you or they're supplying with product and services, and you're looking out to try and obtain some financial support from them. And then again, once you do actually upgrade them or you have been successful in obtaining sponsorship, what is the next steps going forward? And then how do you continue to support your sponsor? I think, Drew, I've answered your question as well, that you put expectation versus reality dollar value. And that comes back to identifying your worth and what benefits you can offer. How much is that benefit to you? So how much is your time to take your race vehicle down for 8 hours? And again, it comes down to your hourly worth. Or are you just dropping it, running it off, and then picking up at the end of the day? And again, they're all going to be very bespoke to each of those individual situations. Jonathan wrote, knowing how to price and what to put and thinking outside the box. So again, with pricing, apart from your own worth and knowing how much the benefits that you can actually offer that sponsor cost you and the time that it takes to activate all of that, it also comes down to your racing cost. Okay, so what are your racing expenses? Have you worked it out whether, again, you're asking for sponsorship for that specific sponsor for 1 round or 3 rounds to go to the US, or that one Bathurst event, or for the annual round, or for the next 5 years? You need to also be very mindful and very aware of what are your financial expenses. Okay, so you need to take into consideration all of those and to work out, all right, well, realistically, I need $200,000 to go racing for the year. Am I going to be able to get 2 $100,000 sponsors in today's cost of living society? Probably not. So you need to break it down a little bit further. You need to work out, again, if you're going to go to a local butcher, what they're going to want for return on their investment and what they're going to be able to invest in you is going to be a lot different to, say, if you go to a franchise real estate agent or a franchise of a hotel chain. So unfortunately, team, there's not like one just direct answer I can give you. It depends on each of those individual circumstances. And hence why I said, if you ever do want a free strategy call, or you're just like really stuck going, look, Belinda, I don't know how to cost this, I'm always happy to jump on a call or I'll email with you. I'll put the link to book a free strategy call below. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions you have going forward. So hopefully, Jono, I've helped you answer that one. But knowing how to price it is going to depend on what they're wanting to work with you for, A, how long, and B, what they're wanting to get out of it. And then my friend Matt wrote a big post, which I'm just going to recap. And he says, to summarize a few complexities under one heading, I say pricing. So his question is the cost of even basic inclusions, so stickers, wraps, suits, merchandise, hats, advertisements, etc., versus the value of the sponsorship. What return on investment can I reasonably expect to provide the sponsor versus the cost of going racing? So initially it sounds like a simple fix, raise the price, but too high and you'll price yourself out of a sponsor. The alternative is lower the cost of racing, can be done to a point, but eventually you'll no longer be able to reduce your cost, particularly if racing for a team. So his next solution was offer less inclusions. Value of the sponsorship also reduces and is less appealing. And his current strategy is be prepared to offer more for less. So again, those questions that I was asking you to ponder before about what's your hourly rate, what is the cost of the benefits that you can offer the sponsor, how often can you do it, what type of activations can you do for the sponsor? Yes, knowing your expenses in order to go racing, but also we flippantly kind of say in motorsport, oh yeah, we've got stickers and we've got some wraps or we've got merchandise, but that also costs you money as well. So what are those expenses? What are those costs to you? And you might say for every sponsor, we give a sponsorship pack away. That's great, but how much is that pack? Is that actually valued at $120? You need to include all of that kind of information inside of your proposal or your sponsorship package when you're developing it. There's many ways that you can actually deliver your sponsorship package. It doesn't necessarily have to be, as I said, in tiers or in packages per se. Get creative. Showcase some different ideas around what it is like to work with you, especially if you are unique, especially if you've got some different skill sets that you can show. For example, maybe I'm now putting myself on the spot here. Maybe you work in the chocolate factory, or maybe from talking to the sponsor, you know that they like chocolates. So maybe you can send them out a box of chocolates and you can get a wrap done very cheaply at Officeworks that says, and I'm trying to think of a really funny, like marketing pun here, but something like around, something around chocolate. It will come to me eventually. But anyway, you know my gift. Oh, well, I say, for example, like what my marketing thing is at the moment, team, is that I currently have a Freddo Frog, and my thing is looking forward to leaping you forward in 2025. All right. So that's more effective than giving an athlete a flyer that says, scan this QR code. That's cool. They've got something to eat about. Another athlete is going to see that athlete eating the chocolate. Hey, where did you get that from? They'll be like, hey, Motivate's giving them out. But it's really cool. It came with this. It comes in a cover, and it does have the QR code. And then it's a little bit thicker than a paper as well. So then they can scan the QR code, and then it goes directly over to my website. So that conversation starter is going to be something a little bit different. So again, when you're delivering your packages, be different, because of course, a lot of these sponsorship managers, corporate managers are getting hundreds and thousands of proposals. So think outside the box when it comes to sending through your proposal/sponsorship package. All right, team. So I think that's all from me today. I just wanted to jump on very quickly and talk about the sponsorship packages. Just to recap, that all of those pointers will be available in today's show notes. So I do highly recommend that you race over, and then you can just copy it down. So if you don't know, on the podcast on the right hand side, it will say subscribe, and then hopefully for subscribing, and I do thank you if you are. And down the bottom it will say transcript, and you can click onto that and it will go word for word with everything that I've said today, as well as the links over to the new Winning Sponsorship course that is kicking off on October the 7th. If you've already got all your systems put into place and that's really easy for you, and you're just looking for, I guess, some more ongoing support when it comes to sponsorships, or I guess working with a sponsorship coach, then the Motorsport Sponsorship Club would be more inclined with you. And of course, if you do have a fantastic opportunity that's presented to you right now and you're wanting some more direct one-on-one, I do offer coaching as well. So team, thank you very much for joining me this week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I love it if you can either put a review directly onto the direct podcast platform that you're listening to today, or of course jump onto socials and you might do a video testimonial saying, hey, I listened to this episode and I got 1, 2, 3 points out of it. It was great, and tag us in and we'll be happy to share it. We do have a monthly prize, and guess what? For the whole month of September, for anyone who does write us a review, will go into the draw to win free access to the Winning Sponsorship course kicking off on October 7th. So if that is of interest, I'd love for you to give some feedback on today's episode, or provide some feedback on what other kind of subjects you'd like me to present going forward. Otherwise, team, I'll look forward to being in your ears, I guess, next week. And I can't remember, but I'm sure no doubt will be an exciting episode. Thanks, team.